Good morning, friends from Big Sky Country. I'm standing outside of the Chabad because there's nothing like the Montana view. And this Shabbos, this past Shabbos, I had the great zchus, the merit to conclude the tractate of Sotah and begin the new tractate of Gittin. And so I want to celebrate that with you. I want to take a moment to share with you the conclusion of Sotah and then share with you a great insight from the Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatza on the Sotah. And so the tractate of Sotah concludes as follows: Mishameis Rebbe, when Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, Rabbi Judah the Prince passed away, Batla Nova, humility ceased to exist, the Yiras Chet, as well as fear of sin. Then Rabbi Yosef says to the Tana of the Mishnah, Lo Tisnei Anova, don't include in the list of things that cease to exist, don't include humility. Why? The Ika Anova, because I'm still around. And if I'm still around, then there's still humility. And then Reb Nachman said to the Tana of the Mishnah, don't mention fear of sin, because I'm around. So Rabbi Yosef is saying that he represents humility. So despite the fact that Rabbi Judah the Prince, Rabbi Yehuda Anasi passed away, there's still humility. And Reb Nachman says there's still fear of sin because he's around. Hadna loch egla arufa, v'slikala meseches Sotah. And so we conclude here the tractate of Sotah, and we say a short prayer. We shall return to you, tractate of Sotah, and your glory is upon us. Our thoughts are upon you, tractate Sotah, and your thoughts are upon us. We will not be forgotten from you, tractate Sotah, and you will not be forgotten from us, neither in this world nor in the world to come. We give thanks before you, Lord our God and God of our ancestors, that you have placed our lot among those who sit in the study hall, and that you have not given our portion among those who sit idly on the street corners. We rise early and they rise early. We rise early to pursue matters of Torah, and they rise early to pursue frivolous matters. We toil and they toil. They toil and receive reward. We toil and receive reward, and they toil and do not receive a reward. And we run and they run. We run to the life of the world to come, but they run to the pit of destruction, as it says, you, God, will bring them down into the pit of destruction. Men of blood and deceit shall not live out half their days, but as for me, I will trust in you. That's the conclusion of Sotah, and here's the Rebbe's incredible teaching. Because something doesn't seem right. How could Rabbi Yosef tell the Tana of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yosef and Amoira comes and tell the Mishnaic sage and says that what? That even though they proclaim that when Rabbi Judah the Prince passed away, there's no more humility, Rabbi Yosef says, I represent that humility. How could he argue with the Mishnah? And secondly, isn't it a little contradictory? You're saying that you are the person of humility. Isn't by saying that quite the opposite of humility? So there's two insights from the Rebbe that I want to share. Number one, when the Talmud says, when the Mishnah says that when Rebbe passed away, there was no more humility, it was stating a fact that in the days of the Mishnah, in the days of Rabbi Judah the Prince, there was a gilui elikus, there was a godly revelation in the world that allowed for people to see their talents and their gifts, not as an egocentric thing, but as a gift from Hashem. Talent on loan from God. And therefore, when Rebbe passed away, it is assumed that now that there isn't that revelation of godliness in the world, ego is a very dangerous thing, and true humility ceased to exist. Comes along Rabbi Yosef and says, no, you don't understand. If a Jew tries hard enough, they can reveal within themselves that level of gilui likus, that level of godliness that allows for them to have real humility, which is the recognition, not that they don't have certain talents. That can exist all the time, but that they have talents, but those talents are truly in service of their Creator and a gift from Hashem. But it gets even a little more interesting. These talks are from the 50s. The Rebbe says what Rabbi Yosef was saying is quite deep. He was saying that for me, Rebbe didn't pass away. In other words, when Rebbe passed away, there would be no more humility. But because for me, Rebbe is still alive, everything that Rabbi Judah the Prince represented lives on within me, within the students that carry the torch of Rabbi Judah the Prince. So we are capable of still having humility because he didn't really pass away for us. And so if we really live that legacy, there is no concern that humility will cease to exist because Rebbe is still with us. It's just an incredible lesson in the importance of recognizing that our talents that God has given us is not something to be quashed, not something to be ignored. If God gives you a talent, follow Rabbi Yosef's lead, follow Rabbi Judah the Prince's lead, and recognize that those are talents from Hashem, and you need to utilize them to transform the world from a place of negativity to a place of positivity, from a place of darkness to a place of light, and be an asset for Hashem. Be a person that brings God's name into the world, that Shem Shemayim should be Misayav al Yodcha, that God's name should become glorified through us in our actions and the way we live our lives. Don't have false humility. have true humility, which is a deep recognition that you rock and you have what to bring to this incredible world. Have a wonderful day. May we continue many tractates, conclude many tractates, and study much Torah. That's something no one can ever take away from us.